Hello everyone. Hello everyone. If you have not met me before, my name is Anthony A. I got a good one for you today. Everyday living. It's just lessons that I see happening in real time, past time, looking into the future, everyday life. Things I've learned, observations I've made. Okay, all right. So today's subject will be, go ahead and hit the like button. That's that thumbs up or whatever they got. Just hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and more subscriptions. Let's get this number up, please. People, help a brother out. Help a brother out. um, let's go ahead and get the comments going. Go ahead and hit the reason I'm saying hitting the like button now. I think that helps with the algorithm. Also, I have found for even myself, if I don't go ahead and hit it right now at the beginning, sometimes I forget, because sometimes, let's admit, some of y'all don't watch the whole video. You should watch my whole video, by the way. But you forget. And I go back later and find out, if I go back to the video at all, find out later, hey, I didn't hit the like button. Or sometimes I'll go into another video and I'll be like, oh man, I forgot to hit the like button. I'll go back to that video, hit the like button, because it's one of my favorite people or whatever, or what they're talking about. So today's subject, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I think they say if this is your first video, I'm gonna say go ahead and subscribe. This is gonna be good stuff. This is gonna be good. This is everyday living from a grown man. If you can tell, I'm from the South. Not the deep South, but the South. Anyway, though. Okay, so here we go. All right, so today's subject has to do with, who are we really? Who are people really? The reason why I bring this up is because I had an interesting situation happen. And it's a business that I go to, that I frequent all the time. And I go to the business, do my thing, purchase my products, and then I leave. Probably pretty regularly, not every day necessarily, but I go quite a bit. And let's just use fast food restaurants as an example. You can go to Burger King, you can go to Wendy's, you can go to McDonald's, and you might flip back and forth if you're into that. Or you may go to stores, you may go to grocery stores, you may go to Kroger, Publix, you may go to, I don't know, Walmart grocery, or whatever. You may go to those stores. But because once I find something good, this is the thing about me, folks. Once I find something good, I want to stick with it. Once I find a great group of people, I want to stick with them. As a whole, when I find a good spot, there's not that much difference in the price to get me to switch over to another place. Now, I will try it out. For example, if I like a certain fast food restaurant and I find out another fast food restaurant has the same meal, I will give the other place a try. But if I find out it's just about the same, or the price is just a little bit lower and the food is better or the service is better, I stick with what I know. And I usually try to find two, if I can, two spots, if something's going on at one. I'm a relationship builder. I like to talk to people. I like to have a quick conversation. They usually know me when I get ready to walk through the door. For example, it's this meat and three place that I go to. They know what I'm going to order. They know what I want, and it's a very specific order. I mean, they even got a nickname for me in the restaurant because I order the same thing pretty much every time. Sometimes I get a little bit of it, sometimes I get a lot of it, but it's the same thing. I've been going there for years and years, even back when I was a college student. But great restaurant, great people, and so on and so forth. But anyway, though, who are we? Who are we really? What I mean by this is, I have noticed over time, I am in the South. So I think personally, and I've heard this before, we're pretty friendly. Overall, we're pretty friendly people. We'll speak to you. We'll say, how you doing? How's everything going? Smile at you. Hey, how you doing? You know, we're not going to be dismissive and just walk out, depending on, for the most part, pretty friendly people. Speak to you, don't even know your name, even carry on conversations in line with you. That's one thing that people like about the South. Same businesses, pretty much. I mean, from the most financial astute businesses to down home cooking, but got a little draw in the conversation. Slow it down a little bit, but it's the same thing. But it's just a little bit more hospitality. Matter of fact, you're raised that way in a lot of cases, not in all cases. You're raised that way, typically speaking. And that's no knock on anywhere else. But if you've ever lived down here before, if you ever come to this area, you'll find yourself standing in a line, and you're just standing there waiting. Man, sure is a good day today. Somebody might say they're standing behind you, in front of you. Weather's real good out there. But, that's just something normal. Now, there are some other areas where it might be a little bit more dangerous. Might be a little bit more what's called. You might get a head nod, but you ain't finna get no real deep conversation depending on what time of day, what time of night. But anyway, for the most part, pretty cordial. But what I have learned in life is, just because somebody is cordial, just because someone has a friendly conversation, doesn't mean that they necessarily have your best interest at heart. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to treat you well. So even though I am friendly, kind, and open, being that way, being more open to people, gives you access to people the way they think. And they're a little bit more open with you. They're a little bit more expressive with you and share more information with you. I typically get a lot of, because I frequent the same places, I typically get a lot of information from people over time. And I bring this up because years and years ago, I was working at this business. This was years ago, many moons ago. I was a young buck working at this business, and there was someone that I worked with, and they were the nicest, most friendliest person. I mean, I think I've met. Wanted this person to be my mom, There was some clues in there that showed me this was what you call Southern hospitality. In a couple situations, in a couple circumstances. I mean, the people loved her. But behind the scenes, this person was a hard person to work with. And I didn't really work with this person that much. But I worked with them enough to catch these little stories the person would tell. From them telling me how they went to a restaurant, they had bad service, and they went off on the wait staff for whatever reason. And typically, I'm not going to go off on anyone. You know what I'm saying? I can, say something to you in calm fashion. I'm not going to act a fool on you. I'm just going to, say something. Hey, man, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. I'm going to keep it right here. I don't like to get way up here because that's just not my style. If you ever see me way up here, it freaks people out because just as extreme as I am nice and try to be calm and be cool with people, and just enthusiasts, as they call it in the Enneagram 7, when I go way up here, it's off the rails. Barely ever get there. Learn how to, over the years, to control that, because it freaks people out, because this guy's so nice, this guy's so kind. And when I get to that point where you just really got to me, it throws everybody off. Like, what happened to this dude? This is not the person that I've been knowing for years, you know. So I never go there. Never. But this person got promoted, and they were a terror to the staff, to everybody. So just because someone has hospitality, just because someone says the right words, you gotta like read them and fill them out first. Because some of that, let me use a good example here. Have you ever, when you were a kid, or some of y'all are kids now, you went and you seen this tree, and let's say it had some type of fruit on it, or let's say it had some type of nut on it, or whatever the case may be, and it fell on the ground. I remember this as a kid. And you crush it open as a little kid, or you break it apart, or whatever case, and it was rotten on the inside. It looked just perfect on the outside. I mean, it looked perfect, but when you open it up, it was rotten on the inside. You're like, ugh, you throw it away. That's what I think you deal with some people. It's like this presentation on the outside, but inside, as the Bible says, it's full of dead men's bones. And so I'm sitting up there, and I've learned this. So I tend to watch and pay attention to people more now. And like I said, I've gained access to people because I'm typically friendly. A lot of people, when they do business in their own way. They don't usually carry on even a quick conversation. They do business their own way. They do business their own way. Me, I'm going to have a nice little sentence or two with you. You're going to remember me. You're going to remember me. And I'm going to be pleasant about it, and I mean it with all my heart. I'm just that type of person. That's not to brag or anything. I just was always built that way. It's since I was a little kid. As a matter of fact, I take pride in the fact if I can get somebody to come out of that shell. I take pride in that. Pride in it. I like people to open up and be nice and kind and be able to feel comfortable around me. I mean, I've heard some stories. You'll never believe it. I mean, I carry on. I mean, that's not to brag, but what I found is that once you get people to open up, you find out who they truly are. So I stand back and I watch them. Also, too, I like to watch out for people. I like to make sure they're not going to get over me, because they're winning me over with their southern hospitality, their charm, their decorum. They're trying to win me over. But it's all that shell, but it's rotten. It's rotted out in the inside of that nut or that fruit. Beautiful on the outside. So I saw something and I was like, this is going to be trouble. So I frequent one business on a regular basis, right? I also frequent another business. Let's say I go to 2 different restaurants. So I go there, they know me by name, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Anthony A. They don't call me Anthony A, but how you doing today? Boom, regular. I'm a regular. Sometimes I go over to the other business. Hey, Anthony A. Blah, blah, blah. So I watch people. I see people come and go. That's how often I go. I go for years. And I watch to see who's good at customer service. I watch to see who got the attitude. I watch to see if people, and I listen to their conversations. I check to see if they're corrupt. I check to see if they're that fruit, but it's rotten on the inside. I mean, I've literally had people that seem like the most pleasant people in the world. And after sitting having a few conversations with them, I was like, this person will get over on me. I still got a smile on my face. I was like, this person will get over on you in a minute. But when you see them interact with the customer, it's beautiful fruit on the outside. It's a beautiful shell on the outside. But if the conversations I've had with them, or just more of a listening, they will steal your car. They would take your dog. They will take things from you and would not give a care. So when I see people put on that shell, I've gotten good enough where I can catch it now. If you listen to people talk long enough, they'll truly tell you they really are. And so I literally saw a business. So let's goes back to the topic. Who are you really? First of all, my audience, I don't want you to be the person that has that nice, beautiful shell on the outside and full of dead man's bones rotting on the inside or rotting on the inside. It's no way to live your life. You ought to be a great person on the outside and on the inside. You ought to not have some scheme you're working out. And my predictions are pretty spot on because, like I said, I go to the same businesses over and over. So in this one situation, I'm going to this place, right? Let's just say it's a restaurant. I'm going to this restaurant, right? And there are certain people in there that are genuine. Boom, boom. Good people. Good down. Then there are certain people over there. I literally heard them talk. As soon as the customer leave, they start talking bad about the customer on more than one occasion. I'm like, dang. You're kind of smiling in their face, as that song says about temptation. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Those backstabbers. Those backstabbers. I didn't say I could say it, y'all, but that's the song. Look it up. That's a Temptation song. I remember that line. I don't know if it's for the love of money or what. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Those backstabbers. Those backstabbers. I'm sorry, y'all. That's a jam right there. I think it's for the love of money. For the love of money, people will steal from their brothers. For the love of money, people will rob their own mother. And then it says, don't let money change you. How many something have I heard you say? I'm sorry, I got in the mood now, folks. Anyway, though, I've literally saw them be nice to somebody. And then in the next minute, sorry, y'all, I ate some food. Then in the next minute, that person leave. You know, can't stand him. Can't stand her. I've even heard them tell another person in the restaurant, in the place where I'm talking about, go to the cashier or whatever right next to him and whisper something bad about the person. That's how bad it is. And I was like, hey, man, I wonder what they really think about me. So anyway, though, fix what's going on the inside of you. Don't be fake behind people's back. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the story, I'm going to this one place, right? This person works there. And I got two groups of people. I got the people that are pure heart, that are good. They might not be perfect, but genuine, right? Then I got this people that like present genuine, but they're rotten on the inside, or rotting, right? So I'm sitting up there, I'm like, okay, all right, so what's the dealio? So this person leaves this one, let's just say it's a restaurant. They leave this one restaurant. And I look up, and they're now hired. They're now hired at my other restaurant. And I think to myself, why is that? So I have a conversation. I'm saying restaurant, but it's really not a restaurant. I'm saying, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a hardware store. I go to one hardware store, then I go to another hardware store. That's beside the point. They're literally working at the other restaurant. And I was like, oh, what's up, so-and-so? Like, yeah. I'm making up the conversation, but this is the gist of it. I was like, well, weren't you over at the other spot? Yeah, I had to leave so-and-so. Now, truth be told, I don't know if that person left or they got fired. I come to find out later, when you talk to people, you're trying to find out later on that they let you go. for whatever reason. When you have enough conversations with people, you find out the truth a lot of time, or the stories don't line up. But whatever the reasons, now they've hired at one of my other spots. And I'm like, they hired trouble. And I'm like, why did they hire this trouble? Because of that shell. That shell, people, it looks beautiful now. I'm telling you, this person that I'm talking about, I can see them in the interview process right now. They shine. They shine. And then they shine in front of the customer. But this same person, I have literally heard talking bad about another customer. I have heard them talking bad about the company. I have heard them talking bad about employees. But if you go to them and they service you, they'll give you the royal treatment. Beautiful on the outside, rotten in the inside. So it's real easy to see how this person went from one company, which they probably got let go, or they quit because they got into somebody, and move over to this other company. Now bringing that same fruit, that same beautiful on the outside, rotten on the inside this other company. I predict that they probably won't be at this other place too long either. I predict that because I know the manager, the owner of this establishment over here. And although they're nice and cordial, they're pretty ruthless. That's a whole nother ball game. They get things done, but they're pretty ruthless. And I can see this person getting into it with them just because of what I know about it. But why did they hire them, folks? Because they can make a great presentation. But once you dig into the guts, you find out it's rotten in the inside. They're good. Please don't be like that. Please let at the core of your heart, you're a good person. Please let it not be built in selfishness, poverty mentality. If you are that way, get some help. Acknowledge your wrongdoing. Acknowledge that you need work. We all need work. Some people are pretty great people, but we always need to be improving, getting better, and getting better. So I've given you two stories there to kind of give you what I'm talking about here. Get some spiritual help, get some counseling, or whatever the case may be. If a good sign that if you have this problem is if when people that are really close to you can tell you how you really are behind the scene. So-and-so, you're really selfish. One person tell you. Another person tell you, man, so-and-so, you really selfish. Another person tell you. Close, good friend tell you, no, so-and-so, you really selfish. Another person tell you, you've heard you're selfish your whole life. You're selfish. Now, let me put this little caveat in there. Let me put this little thing in there to throw this out. I don't care if 4 or 5 people tell you you're selfish. If that person is polluted, if that person got issues, if all those 5 people got major issues, no. Don't hold that to the grain. But when you have good people, generally good people, good honest people telling you that you're kind of selfish, you're all about yourself, and consistently good honest people tell you that, you need something. You need to work on something. Same thing with me. I'm going on it's, something I had to learn is like, I'm a talker. Let's just keep it a buck, as you probably know. So I had to learn how to let people get their word in, even if they're a person that doesn't speak that much. So for me, I'm naturally a talker, and the person may not be as much of a talker. I got to make sure that I give them a chance to get their conversation in, to say what they have to say, to put those, I like to call them my 5-second pauses. 5-second pauses up in there, 4.5, 5 second, whatever, 4 second, depending on the conversation. Give them a chance to speak, even though they're not much of a talker. Or even question them, open-ended question in a way so they can get into the conversation. because I can do this. I can talk, buddy. So the reason why these people keep getting hired is because they present a beautiful shell. And the managers or the owners don't have enough information to actually know that this person is just a shell. Now, some people, as they say, have ability to pick out BS artists. BS, if you get what I'm saying. BS artists. And man, I'll give you a good example. I'm going to tell you one more story, then I'm going to let you go. This was when I was in high school. I was in high school, and I had my freshman year in college. No, I went off my freshman year of college. I came back to this company to work for the summer, and they hired this manager. And I mean, when I say he was a smooth cat, he was a smooth cat. Got people laughing. He was the life of the party, and he was the store manager. This store doesn't exist anymore, by the way. And they got bought out when I came back, and they became this big, large company or whatever the case may be. I came and worked for them. Same people, pretty much same people there. And he was a manager. So I'm up there, I'm working in the summer and everything like that. Now, he was one of the managers, co-manager, but he wasn't the main person. The main person hired me. Been there for a year. Good guy, good guy. My first manager, I can honestly say, at a real job, was a really great guy. And this guy that he hired, I mean, he had the room rolling. Oh my goodness, he was the charmer. But I come from a town of hustlers. I come from a town of quick talkers. I had some of them in my family. So I could probably, even at a young age, I could kind of read that something quite wasn't right. And I always had a little thing going on in my head about this guy. Now, this me, a little 19-year-old kid. This guy is probably in his 30s, you know. And I'm like, something ain't right with this guy. You know, he's funny. He says all the right things, but it's almost too much. You know, it's like it's not genuine. It's like it's to put on a show. And I figured that out at 19 years old. I guess I don't know how I was raised, the city I was in, what. And everybody was eating this guy up. And I'm like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. I said something. But come to find out, I go back, I think it's toward the end of, I think I worked there one more summer. I never forget it. I worked there one, or either I went back like when we had spring break and worked for a week or so. Went back home, worked for a week. Something of that nature. And I get back, and my general manager is there, and I'm looking at the schedule, and I don't see this person's name on there anymore. And I talked to my general manager. We having our little meeting. He was like, "Oh yeah, I had to let him go." "Oh, you had to let him go?" "Yeah, he was stealing." "He was stealing?" Which I kind of knew. I kind of had an idea. I was always, you know, we had these registers, and at the end we do the countdown. You had these two windows. You had the manager on this side, and you balance your register on the other side of the window. Then you had it over to the manager to count your register. And I was always skeptical about handing him my register, because I have a good count, and then get over there. I just always had this iffy feeling, because my register was always balanced. You know, if you've ever worked in the store, your register has to balance. In some places, a certain dollar amount. In some places, the exact amount. A few pennies off, you can't do nothing. If you're a certain amount off, you get in trouble, or you're getting rid of them, or whatever the case may be. You can lose your job. Your register has to balance, and you're the only one that can ring in your register. And managers every now and then could go over and ring in your register, but the way we had it set up is, if a manager ever rung in your register, you had to like do this thing to sign off, so they couldn't take anything from you. But during the count process, I was always scared to give him my money, because I thought he was crooked. And lo and behold, I was right. He was stealing money for a long time. Not only was he stealing money, he was stealing food and everything. And I even saw him doing this one time. But I figured, since he was the manager, he would take food, go back to his lunch break off the shelves, eat the food, and he was supposed to pay up at the end of the day. Well, he was taking food and not paying up at the end of the day. He was just eating. That was one thing, but he was also taking money out of the register, telling people they were short when they weren't short, and taking the money and making other people look bad. And I think somebody challenged him on it, and it found out. They watched the cameras and found out he was taking money. They let him go. They fired him. But I always had this in my gut. But like I said, this guy was, man, he had them customers fooled. Man, them customers loved him. The people loved him. But it was too much. It wasn't genuine. It was all a scam. It was all a hustle. So, if you have great people around you consistently telling you, hey man, you're a liar. You lie about everything. Or hey man, you have a poverty mentality. You have a poverty way of thinking. Hey man, you're always blaming other people. Hey girl, you need to do better in life, or whatever. Get some help. Get some help from outside that's gonna keep it real. Get a coach, get a counselor, whatever the case may be. And work on yourself too. Just do some prayer, whatever. Talk to God about it. But when the person is self-centered, it's like they can blame everybody. I know somebody who blames everybody for everything. You can't tell them that. I literally know somebody that I say, yeah, did you ever have any trouble with so-and-so, so-and-so? When you said that to him, nope, no problem. I ain't never had an issue. And as you continue to talk to him, you find out, oh man, we almost went to blows. What I mean by that, they almost got to fight. You didn't say that last time when you said that to them, they almost tried to fight you. They forgot their story when we talked about it again. They forgot that they said they had no issues the first time. Now they said they almost got to fight. The person wanted to fight them because they said something bad to them. Anyway, though. Okay, people, let's work on our hearts. Let's get the comments going. Have you ever met anybody like this? Are you like this? Did you get some help? Did they get some help? Is this person still around? Tell me your stories. Let's get into it. Have a good day. Peace, love, and hair grease.